Hello, everyone. Jack Bosch here, and from my home office, my little messy home office, and I am coming to you with a with a group of 4 guests here. We got Chantel Duty here, we got Michelle and Warren Davis, and Lala and Memo Bat. Actually, it's 5 guests, of course, if we take them together. And these are 3 sets of our current mentorship students who are very successful already doing our land flipping. So we have gotten a lot of questions about the mentorship and how it all works and what the impact is and so on. So I thought instead of me just telling you how great it is, let's just bring up a few students and let's have them share what experience they've had with it, right? Let's just go and talk a little bit about it. Let's talk about if you guys enjoy it, if you don't, what you enjoy about it, and let's just chat that way. So, okay. So first of all, in order to make this quick, I not waste any time, I would like to jump right into it, and perhaps we can go and go a quick round of make a quick round of introductions. Perhaps you share with us what your name is again, where you're from, how long you have been in real estate and doing land deals, and kind of like where you are in that process. If you have done deals, if yes, how many, and so on and so forth. So who wants to start? Well, you guys are laughing, so let's start with Warren and Michelle right there.
Okay, well, I'm Warren Davis, my wife Michelle, and we basically, before we actually got into real estate land flipping, we didn't really have a lot of experience at all with real estate, virtually none, and we had tried to flip some houses, but we weren't successful there at all. So we've been affiliated with Jack's program and land flipping for about the past year and 2 months. Yeah. And I tell you, we love it. We love it. And it's been exciting. We've currently got about 40 deals under our belt that we've got under contract, and we have had some good, seller financing deals, and we've had some excellent cash deals that have come through. And we're trying to really build up the seller financing deals, and that's what we really like because it's gonna help replace our income. So we're still working there, but basically we had no background and had made no money in real estate before we got into this program, and we since have paid off our coaching program, and that's really been exciting to me because it really shows as a process that can work. And so now we're trying to get our family involved because this is actually a program that works for you. So you want to add anything?
Yes, the coaching, I just recommend it. It helped us in the very beginning, and it helped us all the way through our year and 2 months, even still. It's just
Right.
This supportive program that is like none other that we've ever experienced. And the coaching has helped us take it from the information that you get at the workshop and, the training that you get. And then it just helps you to, navigate and understand and really build your business so that we are successful at it being a business, not just a one-time thing or, a few months thing. It's actually helping build our business. And what I really appreciate about the coaching and the whole entire Jack Bosch program, even after the coaching, they don't leave you. There's levels of growth, constant levels of growth for your business. And we just really appreciate that.
And one thing, if I could add real quick, that helped us when we talked to buyers and they would always ask us something that we really weren't always prepared to answer. And so we could go back to our coach and we could get some sound advice on how to really talk to buyers. I mean, it's exciting when a buyer calls, but we wanted to make sure we knew what to say and how to answer them when they ask some of these perplexing questions sometimes. So helping us, that helped us tremendously. Jonathan was our coach, and he got us through some humps that, on our own, I think we would have floundered and probably messed up some deals.
So you answered, I had a few more questions planned. You answered them all in one thing here. But, that's all right. So let's move on. Perhaps Chantel, perhaps you go next. Just quickly give us an overview of how long you've been in real estate, what have you done, the reasons why you picked land, and what have you done so far.
Thank you, Jack. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Chantel Duty. I live in Helena, Montana, and I've been in real estate. I started with wholesaling about 5 years ago. And then I just started doing land, probably 8 months ago is all. I bought the program, just I think the land profit generator it's called. So I bought that program and got started. And then it's always hard for me to stay away from Arizona because I have family down there and I lived down there for 11 years. So I went to the coaching or the seminar that you had in Mesa. Yeah. And I'm super, I mean, I was hesitant to buy this coaching program. It's probably a good thing my husband wasn't with me. So I did it on my own because I had a little money tucked away. And so, yeah, the income that it's brought in this year alone has been well worth it. And I have totally built his belief in real estate now. So thank you.
Wonderful. Awesome.
Excellent.
And then let's go with Lala and Memo. I don't know, you guys want to go separate or together? It's either way. I think you're together as a couple, but you're in separate locations.
Yes. So I'll go ahead and start. I'm Lala, and this is my husband, Memo. And we've been in real estate. We started our LLC in the beginning of January of last year. We did a little bit of dabbling of notes and lease purchase, but we never really had a closed deal. We didn't make no money. So when we started, we went to the event last October. We really enjoyed it. I actually really enjoyed your interaction with your wife and how you had your business together. That really, really appealed to us. And we prayed about it and we did it. And so we jumped in and it's been a blessing very much. Do you want to add anything, Pip?
No, it's good.
All good. Wonderful. Good. So then as a follow-up question, everyone in my experience of having done, obviously having taught this now, Michelle and I have been teaching this for 10 years. It looks like we lost Memo, but he's back. Having taught this for 10 years now, everyone comes to the mentorship program or coaching program, whichever you want to call it. Comes a little bit differently from a different angle to it, and everyone has a little bit different needs. So one of the things we're trying to do is we're trying to personalize it to the highest degree possible, so that it's not just a cookie cutter program. I mean, it's a very standardized process, but everyone comes to it with a different level of experience, with a different level of need, with a different level of expectations, and so on. So what if I can perhaps have you point out one or two pieces where it really where it made a difference for you guys? And I think Warren and Michelle, you already took the lead on that with saying that when talking to buyers and you don't know what to say, that helps, or in certain situations. But perhaps we'll circle back to you. You have a second chance on adding something to that. But perhaps Lala, Memo, or Chantel, you want to add something to that too?
Go ahead, Laura.
For us, I think it helped a lot to have the coaching program. It helped us with the contracts, like just going through everything. Like I said, we never had a closed deal, so we were very afraid to send offers and do that type of thing. So it really helped us build our confidence to be able to send out offers and send a lot, and how to interact with buyers and sellers, and what to tell them, what not to tell them. And
right.
I think it just really, really helped.
Okay. Wonderful. Now, so great. Memo, you want to add something to that?
Yeah, just to add to that, I think in all aspects, it's good to have someone there to hold your hand. For us also too, was like how to just send out the first mailing and just a step-by-step process. I know it's all laid out in your program, but it just helps to have someone there just kind of rooting you on. And when you get stuck, you have always someone to ask, hey, what do I do here?
And let me ask you, who ever got stuck in the program? It's normal, right? It's the most normal thing in the world. You get stuck. And that's where it comes in. Everyone usually, when you get stuck somewhere, if you have to figure it out on your own, your chances of failure just go up, skyrocket up, because now on top of it, somebody gets sick in the family, you have this appointment, that appointment, and you don't continue until 2-3 weeks later, and all of a sudden 2-3 weeks later something else happens and you're like, this stuff didn't work, right?
Yeah.
So that some of the experience you guys had, that by having somebody who is like waiting for you and has a list of things that you're supposed to do, that you're like, okay, we got to pick this back up, because number one, we paid for it, but number two, we have an accountability partner now that's waiting for us.
Right,
True.
and the
Yeah.
fact that you have a call and you're supposed to do stuff for your call, so it makes it more of a I need to do this, not let someone else down.
Absolutely. Right. So Chantel, would you like to add something to that?
Yeah, I would just echo what Memo said, because just having the steps and a system every week, kind of like, I'm totally a checklist person. So if I know what I have to do this week, it
Right.
totally pushes me forward. So creating that system and putting it in play. And then probably the awesome, really cool thing was in the beginning was getting my list. I was having trouble finding properties in the state. And especially like it was like the hidden properties. And so my mentor just literally jumped on the phone, started calling people, like the organizational systems in the government and stuff, or the, tax system and stuff. And he literally just helped me get that list and sort it out. And so that was super helpful, because once that was done, I could just rock and roll.
That's beautiful. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, they do go above and beyond. And by the way, all our mentors, just you guys know that, but perhaps if you're listening here, watching, all our mentors mandatorily have to be doing land flipping full time themselves. Almost all of them actually went through our mentorship program. I think with the exception of like one of them or so, but pretty much everyone went through our mentorship program. But even though one of them had done like 200 deals before we even asked to become a mentor. And everyone is doing an average of probably around 50 deals to 150 deals a year themselves. So that's something. When we created this mentorship program, at the very beginning, I created it myself as a group coaching program, I called it back then. And that was good, but I only have so much time, and in a group that wasn't that efficient. It was good, and there's some Hall of Famers, a whole host of Hall of Famers that came out of that. But at the same time, once we had a whole bunch of successful students and they had done enough deals, we asked them to become mentors for us, and they're just rocking it ever since. And that allowed us to scale this a little bit more and so on and have more. Having said that, we don't have many. We only have 5 mentors now, and each of them only have a few students because they're all doing full-time deals. Great. Michelle and Warren, would you like to add something to that? Kind of like, is there 1 or 2 things that kind of stood out to you and your experience with your mentor?
Yeah, I would say the accountability, as has already been pointed out, the accountability that since you have calls every week, it keeps you accountable to doing and making sure your business is moving forward each week. And in particular, one time we were dealing with sellers that had, like one piece of property, but I remember very succinctly, we got with a couple of sellers that had multiple properties, like 6 or 8. One guy had 10. And we didn't know, before we talked to Jonathan, we didn't know how to deal with those kinds of situations, and Jonathan walked us through it. And we actually ended up getting, several parcels from one seller, but it was because we knew how to talk to him after speaking with Jonathan.
Wonderful. Yes.
And I just wanted to add, you mentioned this, Jack, that having a coach that has it's invaluable, all the experience that our coaches have. And in the beginning of you setting this up, it's not just you throw a coach at us, because everybody has different learning styles, different business styles, or different how they navigate life. And so in the very beginning, before we even get a coach, you have it set up in the program where it's suited to us specifically as how we learn best, we might work best, and then you line them up with that person. But I think the experience and the coaching team that you have is just invaluable. It's not that you're just getting people, that have done deals, but you watch out behind the scenes with them. You work with them as they work with us, and I think that's just top notch.
Yeah, that works.
Wonderful. Awesome. Great. So then what's your top deal that you've done so far? I mean, if anyone wants to share what's one of their favorite deals? And it doesn't have to be like the biggest dollar deal. Perhaps it's like the biggest margin deal. Like some of my favorite deals are some of the deals one time I bought, and I don't expect anyone to have done a deal like that, but one time we bought 107 properties for $10,000.
Wow.
And then we sold them each and every one of them for $4,000. Now in each deal we only made like basically $4,000, but mostly we sold them with seller financing. So we basically made $400,000 on those deals. right?
Wow.
So, but each deal is only less than $4,000 or just around $4,000. So I mean, that is one of my deals, but so it doesn't have to, another deal was $80,000, but I don't expect you guys to have done deals like that. But what is like one of your favorite deals that you have done?
Okay. Let's start.
Do you want to share?
Go
Sure,
ahead.
you guys start.
We
Warren,
did
Michelle.
I'm trying to see the numbers here, but we had a 29 acres.
Yeah.
And as my husband Warren mentioned, we love seller financing deals. So
Yeah.
this one was, it was $35,000 that we sold it for, and we paid $14,000 for it.
Okay.
And so we got our buyer to put 10 grand down. So we did have to put
Nice.
a little bit, but that was great. And he's already paid several months already. So we
Right.
get like $500 a month, and this is going for like 36 months.
All right. That's
and-
great. So in eight months, you get all your money back. It's 100% return on investment, or actually 100% return on investment in 8 months. That's not bad. And then
Yeah.
afterwards, it's all profit. That's exciting. Exciting. How about you, Chantel?
I'd be a little torn between the most simple and the most profitable.
You can share both.
All right. Well, so there's 2 parcels. There were actually 2 20-acre parcels, and the guy said he didn't want to take less than 20, and I offered him $17,500 for each parcel. So I actually ran out of time, and I just don't like not seeing through the contract to the sellers. So I went ahead and found the money to purchase them. And then before I even closed on it, I had buyers who wanted both properties. They just wanted me to close on it first. And so that grossed $36,000 between both properties.
Very
So that
nice.
was pretty sweet. Yep, paid for my mentoring, which was my goal through
And
this.
then some. That's some. Yes.
And then that
Yeah.
same week, I actually closed on another parcel. It was like the land, I used to live over there. The land was just the most unattractive land, I think, in the whole state of Montana. And I'm like, if I don't sell this, I am not going to buy it because I don't know who in the world would ever want to buy this property. And then the same week, I had 2 sellers fighting for it. And the one lady
great.
called me. She's like, I'll pay more than him. And I said, I don't do bidding wars. And then I ended up going with her because she had cash. I didn't want to do the seller financing. So it was a super quick assignment for $8,700.
Very nice.
And that was, it was so funny because I've been doing this mentoring, and you sit it through, and then those actually both closed the very same week. So I made like 40 some that one week.
Wow.
That's where my
Great.
husband was like, okay, this is working.
That's the thing. You did okay with that decision back there that you did without me. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. So also, this is actually something a lot of people do. They do cash deals first, and then once you use that cash deal, first of all, get their money back that they paid for the mentoring, and then pay off some debt perhaps and build up some savings, and then they go to seller financing. And I think Warren, Michelle, you guys did that somewhat to the same degree too. You just start first trying to do cash deals, and then after a while you do seller financing deals, which obviously can be much more profitable even. But hey, if somebody doesn't have much cash to start with in the moment at least, or if you want to just recoup your investment, then that is a great strategy. And the other thing, Chantel, to your point of like, this is the ugliest land that you've ever seen. Remember one thing, and I think I say that somewhere in the program, you are not the market, right? And I learned that from a mentor, from one of my own mentors that I used to pay like something like $20,000 a year for multiple years to be part of a group. And he always said, remember, you are not the market. Just because you don't think it's a desirable area, that doesn't mean for somebody else, it's not their dream area, right? We don't go camping. For some reason, we just are not the camping people. Like we want the hot shower in the evening. We want a nice warm bed in the evening. We like hiking and so on, but we don't do camping. Yet we sell lots of land to people who just love who want to not be in a campground, but who want to be somewhere, and they have all the equipment to be able to somehow take hot showers out there. But that's what they love. And so we're not the market. And for whatever reason they're looking to buy that land, go ahead, right? So it's an interesting thing. And I find that I have to remind myself still to this day sometimes when I come across some properties where I was like, really? Okay, well, but especially that happens in the more rural areas because we don't buy junk. It's just that it's rural areas with no trees on them, but necessarily, I don't know exactly, but I'm speculating right now. Rural areas with no trees on them, perhaps more a little bit deserty, high desert, low desert, hot desert, cold desert, whatever it is. And you're like, okay, why would I want to be there? But people love that stuff. They love it to go hunting. They love it to go hiking. They love it to go just feel the openness and feel the energy of that. And it's a million different reasons. Great, wonderful. And Lala and Memo, how about you? What are your top two deals in whichever way you want to share them?
Okay, you can go first.
My favorite one is it's a piece of land that we had offered I think 12,000, and this piece of land doesn't perk, and there's been perk tests, failed tests, and written with the county, so it's known that this area doesn't perk, and then they don't allow it to do blasting anymore, so this land was pretty much not buildable, and we went back and renegotiated with the owner. $1,200. So then we did what we call a deal behind the deal, where we were able to negotiate it down to the 1,200, and then we still marketed it for 25,000. And someone overseas actually bought it without seeing the property for 25,000, and knowing that it did not perk.
Knowing that it didn't perk, all right, because he doesn't want to build a house on it, right?
Right.
So just for everyone, if you're listening here and you don't know what this terminology that Memo just used, this perk is basically in the rural areas. If you build a house, you're not connected to the city sewers, so you have to do what's called a percolation system and a sewer system, a septic system. It costs a few $1,000s, but what it does is basically the liquid wastewaters, they're getting be put with like channels into the ground, and then they kind of sink into the ground and they get filtered by the earth, right? Or get pre-filtered, and then once a year somebody comes out and pumps like what can't go in there, pumps it out. So, but in order for that to work, the water needs to sink in the ground at a certain speed. And if it doesn't, so what they do is they dig out a few holes on the property, put water in there, and basically measure it to see how fast the water or slow the water sinks in. And if it doesn't disappear fast enough, it doesn't pass the percolation test. And so on. So in this case, it was known. Because of that, they got it cheap, but they were able to sell it to somebody else with disclosure for $25,000, for making basically a $22,000, $23,000 profit. Why were they able to do that? It's because not everyone buys to build, right? Somebody buys to, perhaps they want to do some farming on there, right? Perhaps they want to do some, just to put their RV on there once a year for a month. Right? We sold properties that just somebody wants to go out there once a year for 2 weeks to go do some gold panning and do something because they've done research that there's good gemstones in the earth there. So that's the reason why they wanted that piece of land. They will never put a septic system in there. They will never use it for any of these reasons. But they're just to go out there with their camper once every year for 2 weeks. And for that, it's worth to them $25,000 to pursue their hobby. We are not the market. It goes back to the same example, and it's a brilliant move. Now, how was your mentor? Like typically when people see this one does not perk, they're like, oh no, this is garbage land. Was your mentor involved in that kind of process, helping you to that deal?
Yeah, something that sticks to me that Jonathan says is that 90 to 95% of the stuff that he buys and sells is junk. He would not push himself. So just like it's kind of just helps us. Well, you know what? This is not. We're not gonna own this. So you just kind of move forward, be positive with everything you have.
Well, I want to clarify when Jonathan says that. I know what he means by that. It doesn't mean junk, because my definition of junk is truly unusable land. Like if it's like this, right? If it's basically, or if it's like this, or if it has, if it's like a big wash going through it, or it's like half of it is like swampland or something. That's junk. You cannot use it. But anything else, like what you just described, is a perfectly usable property, except you can't really build a house on it. Or actually, you actually can. There's septic systems that actually work with that, but they're much more expensive. They cost $30,000 instead of $5,000. So it's just adds cost to it. So, but but bottom line is, so when he meant that, I know very well, I've had that conversation with him too, that he calls it as like junk in the sense that he's not the market and it's not the kind of place he would want to live.
Right.
But yes, exactly. That helps. And that's a mindset thing. And that's exactly where the mentors come in. They help you with that. When you see that stuff and you're like, this is not where I want to be. Well, somebody else does. Right? And I can just tell a quick story of one of our deals that where the same thing happened. We had a deal that was like in northern Arizona. The water levels are 600 feet deep and it's brackish water, so it's not drinkable. There's no electricity close by, and there's a dirt road going by, but there's no roof, there's no trees, nothing, and there's a lot of wind blowing. So we got these properties. They're only like $3,000 worth. It was one of the cheap deals that we've done. We got it for $300. So we put it out for advertising, and we happen to have seen it because we happen to travel in those areas. We haven't looked at properties ourselves for like 11 years, but it was prior to that. And we basically put this out there. This guy bought it, and he says like, but before I pay for it, I want to go see it. So he drove from California over there, and back then he had my cell phone number, and he called me when he was on the property, and I saw his number, and I was like, the blood left my face because I thought like, oh my God, this guy is not gonna want this property. So he calls me, and the first thing he's like, Jack, and he's like, yes, and he's like, I'm on the property, and I absolutely love it. Right? Yeah. And that really taught me in that moment that truly I'm not the market, and it's just he was living in a single wide mobile home with his wife, his child, and his mother-in-law. And apparently one of them was his mother-in-law was sick in addition and so on. And it was a very tense and crowded situation. And he just wanted a place of land somewhere where he could put a mobile home on there. And perhaps the electricity wasn't that far away. It might have cost him a couple of $1,000s to pull in electricity or so, and put electricity in and have a place where he could live with his wife and his daughter once his mother-in-law passes at that point. And she was close to that. And he was just like, this is perfect. I can afford it. I have beautiful views. I'm close to the interstate. That's all he cared about. And he was the happiest person in life. He made his lifelong dream come true on a property that I would never want to be. Right? Yeah. So, but it was a flat property. There was no problem with it. It just was not the area I want to be. I don't want to have a water storage tank to get water delivered to me. That's just not my lifestyle. But other people do in the rural areas. And again, once you're there outside of the city, this changes and so on. But apparently it looks like you guys have done a lot more larger acreage properties in more rural areas. So wonderful. So one last word that you want to, just to wrap this up, one last word that you might want to say to somebody who is considering the mentorship program. Should they do it? Should they not? Why should they do it? Just go ahead. Who wants to go first? Perhaps we go with Lala and Memo first.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend mentoring program. We honestly, it's funny that you asked that question because a couple weeks ago we just finished our last call, and my husband and I were talking, and we're like, would we have been able to do this without the coaching program? And we're like, definitely not. We get stuck and we analyze things, and it pushed us forward to just keep going. We knew that we were doing what we were supposed to do, and it was going to work. And especially after that first deal, and then they start coming in, and you get all these contracts. It's just really exciting, and I would definitely recommend it.
Wonderful. Anything you want to add to that, Memo?
Yeah, that's how she said. Your LPG program is really laid out really well, but just having that extra person holding your hand, it just makes it go a lot smoother and faster.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Awesome. Warren and Michelle?
Yeah, I would definitely echo what Memo and is it Lali has already said.
Lala, yeah.
Lala has already said it. It's the hard times. You know, any business you have these lull periods, and you have these times where even in the process is laid out so well. You have these times where you can get a little discouraged when you don't see activity happening a certain way, and to have that coach that really continues to push you and says, you know, hey, I've been through this before. I've already gone this road that you're traveling, and you're going to get past this. That makes all the difference in the world. An experienced person with, you know, that can say, you're going to get past this. You're going to get on the other side, and it's going to be great. That's what I think made the biggest difference for us.
Wonderful. And the exciting thing is the truth.
Yeah.
And that is awesome because, you know, you get in programs and they tell you to do this, this, and this. And Warren and I were like, okay, so
Yeah.
what else is there going to be, after the coaching that we're going to have to pay for or do?
Right.
And it's nothing. The coaching program teaches you exactly what you need to do. It's the truth. Right. It's honest work. It's real. And it works if you work the program.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And you guys have done other programs before, right? I think.
Oh, yes.
And nothing came from that.
Yeah, this doesn't even compare. It's just amazing.
God.
The genuineness of you and Michelle to really help people to succeed and to be in business and succeed and have their dreams and their desires and their want-tos and whatever they need. As you say, get in line and stay in line. And Warren and I will say that all the time. These other programs, they just don't give near what your program gives. Nothing near. It doesn't even come close. So we just appreciate the genuineness, the realness, that it does work. And so every time that you recommend something, Jack, that comes to the videos or what you send out in podcasts or whatnot, we really listen to it and take it to heart, because we know the authenticity of you and Michelle and how real and honest this business really is.
Yeah, we were in another program, 8 months of working another program. We didn't get not zero sales, zero money we made, and we paid double what we paid in the Jack Pross program for coaching. And after 2.5 months with the coaching, we started making money in land. And so I would just tell anybody, land is the best. I mean, it works.
The coaching, yes.
And the coaching, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So you mean to say that I should increase the price of our mentorship program?
No,
not yet.
No, I won't. At least not at this time. Not yet. Not at this time. Chantel, you get to finish up the call then.
I guess I would say if you're like me, like you're spread in 100 directions and it's really hard to focus, and really when you get into a training program like this too, it's sort of like information overload. So the coolest thing about the mentoring is it helps you stay on track, like I said before, and you just have 1, 2, 3 steps each week. This is what you need to do. So in the end, I mean, when I'm thinking about the last 6 months and the simplicity of it, I mean, the actual hours that I spent doing this were so much less than what I had to spend marketing for houses. So it honestly helped me buy back my life a little bit with my family and, just some other things that I want to do. And then the steps are really doable. And from this point forward, I think now that I've got it all going, you've got the motor running and going, it's just the confidence that you have after the mentoring program just will help propel me forward. And like Loma said, my mentor also, he said, if you have any questions, by all means, be sure and let me know. So it's really cool that you still have that point of contact if you get stuck to ask questions. So thank you.
Great. So very good. Thank you very much. So for you listening here or watching this right now, again, there should be a link somewhere below. We're going to post a link below this video or above this video, wherever you're going to see it. If you watch it on Facebook, it should probably be above or in the comments below. If you're watching it on YouTube, it's definitely below. And if you watch it on our website, it's also definitely below. Again, go check it out. Go set an appointment with our guys and see if it's the right fit, because as a matter of fact, as you guys also know, the reason why we're so successful is that we actually are also highly selective. We have a few requests from you guys. We are asking you to have certain things ready and for this journey, because there's no point in us enrolling you if you're not ready for it, right? There's no point in just taking your money and then setting you up for failure if you're not ready for it, if you're not ready for success, and if you're not ready for the steps you need to take. And there's not many steps, but we're looking for action takers. We're looking for people who are willing to make decisions. We're willing for people who can put like a few hours a week, like 10 hours a week on the side, even if it's on the weekends, to do this. We have a student that runs a dentist practice. It's like fully booked with dentist thing. He has still gotten 18 deals in his first 3 months, right? So we have guys in Germany, right? They're working for big car manufacturing companies all day long. Guess what? In the first 3 months, they got 10 deals under contract right now, and they're selling their first ones right now. So it works from anywhere. It works everywhere, but you got to be able to take some action. So if you're willing to do that, then just go on the link, set up an appointment. There's a little form that you can fill out, set up an appointment, and get the year started properly. Get the year started great. With that, Chantel, Lala, Memo, Warren, and Michelle, thank you very much for being on a call with us. Really appreciate it. You guys taking your time of your week. I'm glad I'm healthy again. I was sick all week, so I look a little. It's probably because of that, but I'm all good. You guys look awesome. So with that, thank you very much. You all have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.